Ah, look who's decided to wake up and finally realize that incredible connection evaporated like forgotten coffee in the cup. You didn't even understand what happened, but now you're there martyring yourself with the classic, "What did I do wrong?" or "Could I have done something differently?" Guess what? Playing Sherlock is useless because the answer is much simpler and more painful than you think. Generally, it's exactly what you did and always do that made her run. Irritating, repetitive, predictable attitudes. Those tiny details that one by one built up the grand stage of, "I can't take it anymore." So, hold on tight. Because here and now, I'm going to open the black book of the 7 classic mistakes that end any possibility of maintaining someone's interest. I'm not here to boost your ego or feed your illusion. No, these tips are for you to take a hit and hopefully stop scaring people away. Can you handle the raw reality? Great, go ahead. Oh, and before I forget, this video only exists because smarter people than you already subscribed and liked it beforehand. Do the minimum then. Subscribe, like, and leave that thank you in the comments, not for me, but so the glorious algorithm can bring this content to other unfortunate people who also need a reality check. Ready? Let's go to the first lesson without further ado. First classic and irritating mistake. The virtual clingy. Ah, the famous festival of messages that only you think is cute. Congratulations, champ. You've become that guy who sends "Good morning. What did you have for lunch?" and "Look at this meme" non-stop, thinking you're doing great. Let me tell you, no you're not. In reality, you seem like a walking deficiency. That overdose of contact doesn't scream interest. It screams desperation. She's going to think you're what? Interesting? Charm personified? No, she's going to think you're a guided tour of boredom. Imagine the scene. You start talking, and before she types a syllable, you already bombard her with messages. So what? Do you think she thinks, "Wow, such an available guy, a prince"? No, dear. She thinks, "Help." It's like an alarm that says, "This guy needs me to fill the void in his life." Nothing is less attractive than someone glued to their phone waiting for crumbs of a response to carry on with their day. How to solve it? Easy. Do yourself a favor and discover what it's like to have your own life. Go do something, anything that doesn't involve counting how many responses she has sent. You know the old advice of letting her feel your absence. It remains the only way not to suffocate someone. Want her to be interested? Then show that you have a life beyond her. That is attractive. People who have better things to do than live glued to their phones. In summary, less is much, much more. If you're interesting, she'll want to discover you. If you're just a desperate clingy, well, get ready to be left in the void. Second mistake, and this is a tremendous facepalm, lack of authenticity. Why do you think pretending to be an enhanced version of yourself will make you irresistible, right? Spoiler, it won't. Do you know who is impressed by this act? Yourself. Only you. She quickly realizes she's dealing with a facade of a perfect guy. And when that happens, my friend, you become just another boring extra in the movie of her life. Want to create a true connection? Then try honesty, just for a change. But no, you think you need to pose like a demigod, the flawless, unbreakable guy. Hate to inform you, but no one is interested in talking to a statue. Who connects with a polished and bland version? No one. The magic lies in being real, with flaws, insecurities, and all. Because that's what brings people closer, not your pathetic attempts to seem Superman. Want to know how the mistake manifests? It's those people who spend half their time trying to hide any sign of weakness, pretending to be the Instagram Superman, with cliché phrases, calculated chuckles, and of course, zero authenticity. Guess the effect of this? Cold, distant, and completely forgettable. Because deep down, it's precisely your vulnerabilities, those you're dying to hide, that create a bridge of truth. You don't need to sit on the first date and spill your entire life history, but please, show that you have feelings, that you're flesh and blood. Want to avoid this disaster? Stop pretending. Be yourself. Simple as that. If someone is worth it, they'll want the full package, the real, the true, and not that wax figure you invented. Show your interests, your tastes, even those flaws that make you human. That's what earns respect, attracts, and builds a solid foundation. And the cherry on top? Authenticity remains the most attractive thing there is. Third mistake, excessive jealousy, the classic backfire. Because feeling a little jealousy here and there is even understandable, but turning your life into a Mexican telenovela with a surveillance script. Congratulations, you've just signed the certificate of insecurity. Nothing says, I don't trust myself and I'm desperate, like monitoring every step of the other person, turning the relationship into a paranoia show. Do you really think someone wants a relationship where every step is analyzed, where going out with friends or liking a photo is grounds for your revolt worthy of a reality show? Spoiler, no one does. Think carefully. Do you want to be remembered as the paranoid boyfriend with a surveillance stance, or as someone who knows their worth? People want lightness. They want to feel valued, not monitored like a prisoner. Do you know what exaggerated jealousy builds? An environment so toxic and suffocating that the only healthy exit is the exit door itself. If you don't trust yourself or the person you're with, what kind of relationship wonder do you expect to create? A relationship where you act like personal security only makes anyone run in the opposite direction. Want to solve it? Work on your self-confidence. If she's with you, there must be a reason, so maybe you should start seeing that value too. Give space, respect her life, and believe me, that's attractive. Confidence is the minimum, not a dispensable detail. Leave the neurosis aside, go live. And here's the raw truth. Stop revolving your life around her. Having your own interests, activities, and a routine that doesn't depend on each of her notifications is liberating, and jealousy loses its space, you know. Are you tired of being the fool she treats like a doormat, who accepts any crumb and is still kicked out like trash when she decides? Well, wake up, want respect, then act like someone who deserves respect. If you're tired of being the idiot she treats like a doormat, who accepts any crumb and is still discarded like trash when she decides, then wake up. It's time to stop swallowing disrespect and change this dirty game. Go to the description and get the digital book I left for you. After reading it, you'll learn to be a true challenge, to never bow your head again, and to put any woman in her place without mercy or compassion. Enough of being trampled and discarded as useless. If you want respect, then start acting like a man who commands respect. Fourth mistake, the infamous excess of compliments. Look, do you really think she needs an avalanche of praise to realize you're interested? Congratulations on your naivety. Even more, she perfectly perceives that it's just you trying to ensure she likes you at any cost. Because let's be honest, a compliment here and there at least shows interest, but when you turn every step she takes into perfect, incredible, wonderful, it only shows one thing. Your self-esteem is in the basement, begging for rescue. Now, imagine the scene. Anything she does, there you are, like an adoration wheel, praising the obvious. At first, it might even be amusing, but it doesn't take long to sound unbearably fake. If all you say is a compliment, she'll realize you don't have the courage to be sincere. It's like dating a blank check fan who agrees with everything you say. Do you know what she thinks? Wow, what confidence, huh? But the opposite. Want to know the secret to getting out of this mess? Give sporadic and sincere compliments, please. Save them. A genuine compliment now and then is worth more than a cascade of cliché phrases that she doesn't even take seriously. Want to be remembered? Then learn to be selective, to compliment what really matters, without turning every detail into a parade of praise. And here's the cherry on top. If you don't stop this nonsense, she'll start doubting even the compliments that really matter. Fifth mistake, the I need labels now syndrome. Nothing like that ridiculous rush to suffocate any spark of interest before it even ignites. You barely start dating someone, and already comes the infamous, what are we? Where are we going? As if the most important thing in the universe is to put you in a boyfriend box with a label and all. Seriously, think with me. You're there getting to know someone. The atmosphere is good, light, and suddenly, bam, here comes the demand for status. What does that communicate? That you're less interested in who the person is and more in ensuring you don't lose your place in line. Nothing kills the vibe more than this obsession with a label in the relationship. It's almost like you want to grab the genuine connection and tie it with a leash labeled with ownership tags. The effect: instead of starting a romance, you become the daily reminder that maybe it's time for her to run away. Want to avoid this trap? Relax, as incredible as it seems. Every relationship has its own pace, and the beauty lies precisely in letting it flow. Instead of forcing a title, take advantage of the time to create a connection that truly makes sense. Enjoy the moment, because that's how things naturally take shape, without the dreaded, "Where is this going?" filling the air. And look, I'll tell you a secret. When you stop pressing that panic button, the other person will want to be with you for real, without needing a signed contract to feel secure. Sixth mistake, for the king of the egosphere, talking only about yourself. Because of course nothing is more captivating than an endless me show session. Keep it up. Keep believing that she's delighted to hear every detail of your work, your epic achievements, and how incredible you are. The reality? She's just trying to keep her eyes open while you turn the conversation into a monologue. No one wants to be the audience in your self-admiration circus. Imagine the scene. You, with that silly smile, narrating your adventures and feats without even asking her anything about herself. Congratulations, you've just sent the message that she's only there to admire you. What do you think goes through her head? That she's enchanted by your limitless charm? No, she's counting the minutes to escape. A real conversation happens when both have space, not when one only occupies the stage. Want to correct this lack of awareness? It's simple. Listen, really. Don't pretend you're listening just to prepare your next cool phrase. Ask about her. Show a genuine interest in what she thinks and lives. That not only creates a decent conversation, but also sends the message that you want to get to know the person, not just gain a new fan for your egocentric club. Seventh mistake, the final blow, the cherry on the destruction cake, emotional dependence. Because of course, it's not enough to be interested in the person. You need to turn her into your reason for living. And nothing, absolutely nothing, scares someone away more than realizing they've become your oxygen source, your emotional anchor, your safe harbor, and why not? Your personal therapist. Congratulations. You've just become the practical class on how to suffocate someone to the limit of sanity. Think about the scene. Every time she takes 3 seconds longer to respond, you're already biting your nails and entering a crisis. Every smile, every glance, every like she gives becomes a code you interpret as approval or threat. A true spectacle of deficiency. Is that what you want to be? A ball of anxiety that depends on each of her breaths. People want a companion, someone secure who doesn't disappear, not an emotional anchor waiting to be dragged. And do you know what happens? The more you cling, the more she wants to flee, and the more she distances herself, the more you despair. A perfect cycle that ends with her escaping and you sitting there, wondering where you failed. Spoiler, it was exactly there. Want to get out of this emotional mud? Build your own happiness. Invest in yourself. Have hobbies, a social life, and goals that depend only on you. Strengthen your own self-esteem to be the center of your stability, not the weight expecting someone to carry it. Only when you understand this will you be ready for a real relationship, where you enter as a complete person, not as a package of insecurity waiting for approval. Imagine the scene. You meet someone, the chemistry is explosive, it even seems like a movie script. But then the tragedy starts in slow motion. In a pathetic attempt to show interest, you start the message show, one after another. You can't stand 2 minutes without a response, and there you go again, as if it were a national emergency. In your head, you need to maintain this incessant flow of contact, or the person will lose interest. Spoiler, nothing subtle. You're achieving exactly the opposite. This notification festival screams deficiency, and the other person already wants to give up under so much pressure. And here comes the next act of the comedy, authenticity. or rather, the total lack of it. In the effort to impress, you transform into an emotional chameleon. Is the person a fan of something you barely know? Sure, suddenly you're also super interested in that hobby, that lifestyle. Will it work on first dates? Maybe. But in the long run, when she realizes you were only pretending to please, distrust will appear, and nothing like that to undermine a relationship. No one wants to invest in someone who seems to change their personality like changing shirts. These examples show what you need to understand. The problem isn't that the other person lost interest out of nowhere. In reality, you're undermining everything with attitudes that scream insecurity, whether it's pressure, deficiency, or shameless falsehood. Everything that should be light and attractive turns into a trap of control and obsession. To summarize, simplify. Cut the excess of messages. Be who you really are. Keep jealousy in your pocket. Dose out compliments. Stop forcing labels. Learn to listen, and please, don't turn the person into the only source of your happiness. The issue here is self-confidence. When you understand your worth, you don't need to force any of this, and things flow as they should. Want the secret to maintaining a genuine connection? Be someone you'd like to be with. If any of these points made you see yourself in the mirror or gave you that outburst, do the minimum. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't think it's just to help me, no. This is a public service because honestly, the world needs fewer people stumbling over the same mistakes and sabotaging any possibility of a decent relationship. And say it loud. Have you already made any of these mistakes in a relationship? Have you already been the protagonist of any of these embarrassing moments? Tell it in the comments, in case your experience is the push someone needs to wake up. Thank you for watching and for embarking on this journey of personal evolution and unadorned relationships. See you in the next video. Let's learn to be mature people in relationships.